Hello and welcome back to another Premier League prediction show. We're now up to game week 22, and what a quick turnaround it has been since game week 21, although at the time of recording, Thursday evening, there's two matches taking place, which is Ipswich against Brighton and Manchester United against Southampton. And thus, because of that, we can't give you the updated Superbru predictions table. So we'll just get straight into it, where we head up to St James's Park, where Newcastle United take on Bournemouth in the opening fixture on Saturday lunchtime.
Yeah, Newcastle, the informed team in the Premier League at the moment. Stupid amount of games that they have won on the bounce, including last time battering Wolves 3-0. Bournemouth have been pretty decent themselves, picking points up at Stamford Bridge as well. However, Isaac, just incredible. Newcastle, just incredible. I'm going to go 3-1 to the Magpies.
3-1. I am going to go exactly the same as you, Nathan. That front line of Isaac, Murphy, and Gordon are phenomenal.
Even like Joe Linton fitted.
Yes. Gamara's as well. And since Tonali's come back in, they've looked awesome. 6 straight wins in the Premier League. Just conceded 1 goal in those 6 victories as well. So they're on form. Bournemouth, excellent themselves, undefeated in the last 6, and currently in 8th position in the table. So I think they'll get a goal, but same as you, Nathan, I've gone for a 3-1 victory. We move on then to the first of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, where we got Brentford coming up against Liverpool. Brentford, 2 goals to the worse against Man City last time out. However, they salvaged a draw in that game where it finished on Desmond's 2-2. In this one, I think they'll score against Liverpool, because Liverpool have only kept 1 clean sheet in their last 7 fixtures. But Liverpool back-to-back draws, I think they'll get back to winning ways here, because that Brentford defence can be a bit leaky at times. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 away victory to the Reds.
Interesting. Now I'm probably going to keep this now. Brentford have been very decent at home, minus the last couple of stutters, including that loss against Plymouth, wasn't it? And Liverpool, top of the shops by sort of a distance now. However, they need to keep pushing just to get away from the likes of Arsenal, who are dropping off a little bit, and then Forest, who've been phenomenal, and Newcastle, who are just on a ridiculous run. So they need to keep getting the points. Going to keep it tight, 1-0. Moving on, we've got hapless Leicester coming up against Fulham. Fulham losing last time around for the first time in ages against West Ham. Of course, Graham Potter's first game in charge at home. But Leicester, they just don't look like they're going to win at all, and they're pretty much subjected to the Championship at this point. And for that reason, let's go for a Fulham win, 2-0.
Yeah, I think Fulham will return to winning ways as well. I've gone exactly the same on this one as you, Nathan. I'm going for a 2-1 away victory. Fulham just a 1 victory in their last 6 matches, but they have enjoyed 4 draws in those times, and they do score goals. Leicester, absolutely terrible. Looks like they'll be joining Southampton in the Championship next season, unless their recruitment in this transfer window can bolster their ranks.
Well, they've only got 14 days left, haven't they? You know?
They have. So even though they're just the 2 points away from safety at the moment, I think it's looking likely that they will be joining Southampton, as I said. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Fulham. Next up, we've got West Ham coming up against Crystal Palace. Graham Potter enjoying that first victory in charge in the dugout for West Ham, but coming up against the Crystal Palace side who've just faced defeat once in their last 6 matches. Looked very good last time out against Leicester, where it was a fairly straightforward 2-0 victory. In this one, London affair, I think it'll be tight, so I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to think it's going to end up 1-1.
Yeah, East London against South London, isn't it? West Ham obviously coming into it now with Potter in charge. The thing is, it's a great squad there. He's slowly implementing his style of play on the players, which seems to be working. However, it could be that new manager bounce. Palace, just ridiculously inconsistent for me. So, you know what? I'm going to back another Potter win. Let's go 2-1. Moving on to the 5:30, we've got Arsenal up against Aston Villa. Arsenal, of course, out of the FA Cup via Man United on penalties. However, they did win the North London derby, but Tottenham have not been great at all recently, let's just say. Aston Villa in 7th position, getting 2 wins on the bounce. However, it was against now Moised Everton that you could say, obviously, that was his first game in charge, wasn't it? And he hadn't had much time to prepare. And then Leicester, as we've said, have been completely terrible. So, could go either way. Arsenal love a draw at the moment, but they're not really losing games unless it's in the FA Cup. So, you know what? Let's go sit on the fence 1-1.
1-1. Well, I think Arsenal will take all 3 points in this match. I think it'll be a repeat scoreline of their win in the North London derby. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 scoreline. I think they just got a little bit more quality than Aston Villa. Injuries in the centre of midfield for Villa. Arsenal, Gabriel Jesus, I think he's probably out for the season now.
Yeah, gotta be.
With that injuries just picked up. So, yeah, be tight. But I do fancy Arsenal to take all 3 points. Next up, we've got the first of the Sunday fixtures, 2 o'clock live on Sky in the UK. We've got David Moyes' Everton, you could say that.
Can't believe you're saying that.
Frank Lampard, Coventry. So why not David Moyes? Everton again. Coming up against a Spurs team, losing that North London derby. Pushed all the way for 90 minutes, took them to an extra time to beat Tamworth in the FA Cup. Everton, okay, it was a 1-0 defeat midweek at home against Villa. I think it's going to end up in a draw here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 scoreline.
Well, put it this way, the first time that David Moyes took over Everton, the old Wembley was standing. It was that long ago, 22, 23 years ago now. But Spurs have just not been impressed by him at all recently. I think it's just because of the amount of injuries. I do rate Postecoglou as a manager, but yeah, they're in a sticky situation, aren't they? And Everton, I can just see a bit of a Moyes masterclass here out of nowhere.
Really? Wow.
So, you know what? Let's go for a 1-0 to Everton. I mean, they got to pick up something in their last season at Goodison, haven't they? And they'll probably end up staying up. Anyway, moving on. Man United up against Brentford, another one at 2 o'clock on Sky. Both teams, of course, playing tonight. Man United, aside from, of course, the FA Cup tie against Arsenal looking terrible, it's going to be interesting to see what they do against Southampton. And then Brighton, they just can't seem to buy a win themselves at the moment, just grafting out draws. But tide's got a turn for Brighton for me, and when you compare the two at the moment, I think Brighton are in the better situation, so I'm going to go 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 as well, but I'm going to go for a victory to Manchester United. Wow. I think they'll take all 3 points here. Brighton, it's 1 defeat and 5 draws in their last 6 matches. It could end up in a draw, this one, but surely Manchester United, currently in 15th position at the time of recording.
Possible relegation.
Surely they're going to start climbing this table, and maybe it'll start here against this Brighton side. 2-1 to Man United for me. Next up, we've got Nottingham Forest coming up against Southampton, taking the lead against Liverpool.
Great start, but dropped off
in the game of midweek where they faced Liverpool. Southampton absolutely smashed by Brentford in their last outing. Only 1 winner for me. I don't think it's going to be as convincing as that 5-0 loss, but I'm going to go for a 2-0 home victory to Nottingham Forest.
Oh, for me it is going to be convincing. There's no confidence in that Southampton side unless Ipswich can get something sorted quickly. High morale at Forest, getting a point out of Liverpool in the game they probably should have lost in the second half, and to hold out that well, considering how much Liverpool were attacking, is phenomenal. So for that reason, I think it could be more, but I'm going to go 4-0 to Nottingham Forest. Anyway, moving on, 4:30 on Sky, Ipswich up against Man City. Jadon Philogene signing for Ipswich for £20 million. Absolutely fantastic signing, in my opinion. That, of course, former Cardiff player, he was brilliant for us. Brilliant at Hull. Going back up to the Premier League with Villa, however, couldn't get in the team. So, yeah, absolutely great player. Whereas Manchester City, starting to grind back into it after the woes they have had, but at the end of the day, I think quality is just about going to prevail here, so I'm going to go for 2-1 to the Citizens.
2-1. I think it's that time of year now that Man City, can they get those wheels
Happens
going?
every year.
It does, but they were held 2-2 against Brentford, so I can't see them winning the title at this rate. But I think they'll win this one. I'm going to go for a 3-0 away victory against Ipswich. I think they'll just have too much for the tractor boys all over the park in this match, even though Ipswich have been doing quite well recently. And the final fixture of this game week takes place on Monday evening. We've got Chelsea coming up against Wolves. It's a bit weird with Chelsea. At the back, they do concede goals. Going forward, they did score a couple of goals against Bournemouth, but Bournemouth kept it to 2-2 in the end. I think Wolves struggling at the moment. They find themselves in the relegation zone. Back-to-back defeats, smashed by Newcastle. So I think Chelsea will take all 3 points here in a 3-1 home win.
Yeah, Chelsea are going to take all 3 for me as well. I'm just not impressed by Wolves at the moment. Obviously, conceding more goals, so they've actually dropped below Ipswich now because of goal difference. Could be a banana skin for Chelsea based on their recent results, but they've got to do it. It's Monday Night Football, isn't it? So yeah, 3-1.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining me, Nathan. Thank you for joining us for another predictions video. This weekend we're at a little match in Cardiff, the South Wales derby between the Bluebirds and the Swans. As usual, Nathan, will there be a vlog?
Make sure you win. Link in description below. And remember the march before kick-off as well. Admiral Napier Pub, Canton. Make sure you're there.
Well, interested. Will we turn up or not? Who knows?
Up to you.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. As I say, enjoy the football of the weekend, and we'll see you all in the next video.
Hey, I got something to say. I'm just so sick of hearing everyone complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hitting bottom is the only way to change. So I'll keep hustling, you keep struggling. Bitch, I'm humbling, keep mumbling. I'll keep doubling, you keep bluffing.